It's finally happened. Jeremy Hambley is going to let you know now that he's going to war, Charlie. He's going to war. And he's letting us know in his little Twitter video pretty much exactly what he wants to do. I'm going to let him tell you in his own way. Let's start. I'm going to stop it at different points to dissect what he said.
All right, friends, this is the update many of you are waiting for, we're waiting for. It's going forward. I just agreed in principle to legal defense. I can't say specifically like what the plan is, but I think I'm going to ask him if I can say who it is. But let me put it this way. Everyone is going to be very happy when they hear who it is, except for one person. So the lawsuit is going forward. I'm getting a check ready to pay the retainer.
All right, so let's stop right here. Who could the mystery lawyer be? Well, I highly doubt it's Alan Dershowitz, who's a nationally renowned constitutional attorney, and this is kind of right up his alley. I like Alan Dershowitz. We don't agree on a lot politically, but he's a really great lawyer, a really great constitutional scholar. So who could it be? Who did Quartering talk about on his Twitter timeline today? Because generally speaking, he tends to put this stuff on his Twitter timeline and then play it off as some kind of big reveal. Well, the only lawyer he's talked about is the half-Asian lawyer for Steven Crowder. So I think it's going to be him. Yeah, that's right. Quartering gave that away already, so it's not like it's a huge big reveal. This is what he does. He tells you exactly what's going to happen and then plays it off like it's some big reveal 3-4 hours later. This is literally how Jeremy operates. Let's continue.
And I'm going to prosecute this at the fiercest possible level and inflict what is right and what is fair in as tactical a way as possible. I'm actually going to be having a live stream tonight on the Quartering to regather evidence, to get all the...
All right, so that's really all we need to talk about. That's all we really need to show, because the rest of it is, hey, come by the live stream and do the work for me. So first thing, tactically, Quartering is not known for being tactical, nor strategic, nor intelligent. He's tried to follow in Daddy Sargon's footsteps, and he's failed utterly. He focuses on video games and comics, which, as somebody who focuses on video games and stuff like that, no problems there. No problems. I got nothing. No issues there. But he's not doing what Sargon does, not even what Count Dankula does. He's got a lot of stuff that he says in which he doesn't really provide any insight. He just regurgitates talking points that Sargon of Akkad says, really. He holds the same views as Sargon of Akkad, literally the exact same views. He doesn't really deviate too much. But tactically, what's he going to do tactically? In this, he says that he's filing a lawsuit. Okay, fine. Whatever. He's going to host a live stream today in which he and his fans, mainly his fans, are going to go through and provide him the evidence to file the lawsuit against Matt Lauder, which, what kind of a lawyer do you have if you're the one getting all this stuff and the lawyer's not going to really do it? What's the point? Just to file it? Bitch, you can do that yourself. You're filing in small claims court. As somebody who has filed a lawsuit in small claims court, against a multi-billion-dollar company, by the way, it's not that hard to put the evidence together by yourself. It's not that hard to argue your position in a court of law. Now, when it comes to a criminal or significant court, it actually kind of is. You want a lawyer for that. When it's small claims court, you represent yourself for that. That is literally a place where you could go, yeah, Your Honor, I'm going to represent myself. And you know what everybody else goes? Okay, you're no different than like 100% of the people here. You are no different. And the Quartering doesn't even want to acknowledge that. He's too stupid to represent himself in small claims court. Now, he says later on, by the way, and I'll let him say it.
Archive links and everything so I can send over the dossier to the law firm. So that will be live at like 5. So if you want to have fun with a scavenger hunt, I know all these links exist out there and stuff, but I just want to refine all the archive links and make sure I have all my witness statements in order. And we're going to have a live discovery, and it's going to be great. This is bigger than me. Again, I don't give a shit about winning money. I don't want money. I want a precedent set, and that's what all of you have said too. You want a precedent set that political violence has real penalty. The local law enforcement isn't going to do what I thought they were going to do, and now we're going to take it into our own hands as a community and stand up against this political terrorism and these people that think they can just go around and attack people for their political beliefs.
Okay, so Jeremy wants to tell you that he wants a precedent set. Civil precedents really don't fucking matter outside the state, really outside the county that they're made in. And I mean that. There are very few in which a precedent is really set. Mine against Hewlett-Packard was kind of precedent setting because we were able to establish that what they had said for over a year concerning defective laptops and defective graphics units was an absolute lie. We were able to do this, and a lot more people were able to win money for defective laptops. There's already legal precedent set in the criminal justice system of political violence. It has legal repercussions. We've seen that with the Antifa cases. We've seen that up here in Massachusetts where a couple of Antifa fuckers were arrested and they're being tried for assault and battery with a deadly weapon, extenuating circumstances, etc. There is already a precedent, but Quartering, the special snowflake that he is, wants himself to be case zero in a new precedent. What's that precedent? Who knows at this point? Let's be honest here. Jeremy he's not exactly an intellectual heavyweight here. He's not even really an intellectual lightweight. But the Quartering, he doesn't want you to think that this is about money, even though it is. Remember, he said he was going to file a lawsuit against Christine Sprankle for slander, or libel in this case, defamation. And he was going to do it because she libeled him when she said that he was the cause of her leaving cosplay. He said he was going to file a lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast for stealing his cards in Magic the Gathering Online. And then he wasn't going to file it. And then when people said, okay, he's not filing it, and yours truly did a video on it specifically, he comes back and says, it takes a lot of time in order to file a lawsuit, making it sound like he's going to file the lawsuit. And at the end of the day, what does he do? Comes out with some cockamamie bullshit about, I would have lost money in order to get my money back. So what did I do? I decided not to file the lawsuit I've been hyping up, and I decided to just issue chargebacks on my credit card, which is a federal offense. But, nobody filed that, and I'm not going to. I have no reason to. I'm not a victim of this. The point is that Quartering has a habit of saying one thing and doing the complete opposite, especially when money's involved. He runs a 6-figure business, his words, he's self-employed, runs a very lucrative 6-figure business. He's very well off and won't even see a doctor. Won't see a doctor because apparently it was like $4,000 or something like that, he says. What about that health insurance you've always been ragging on people for? Don't you have that? Jeremy? What's those crickets here for? I don't know. But what I do know is that Quartering is full of shit. So he wouldn't see a doctor. And this is also ties into why the police aren't going to do anything. It was a love tap. Okay, let's be completely honest here. Jeremy got a love tap. He got a couple of them. I'm not downplaying or denying that he's a victim of violence. Not by any stretch of the imagination. He was battered. A battered wife. He was battered. That's the legal definition. So, why didn't you see a doctor? The money aside, why didn't you see a doctor? Because he knew he didn't have anything going on. He didn't have a concussion. He didn't have anything. He's passing off this subconjunctal hemorrhage. and trying to say, yeah, I got this from the fight, except that if that were the case, let me see if I can get a picture of this. I kind of want to see if I can get a fucking, he had a couple of pictures of it up. There we go. That's a subconjunctival hemorrhage. When a blood vessel in the eye pops and it turns a little red, subconjunctival hemorrhage. He's trying to, a few bruises and this gnarly thing, feeling better each day, tackling the restraining order tomorrow. He's trying to play it off as it's some huge wound. You know what you get that from? Taking a shit too hard. Dead serious. Subconjunctival hemorrhage. You get it from a freaking, I'll pull it up. I'm going to pull it up. Subconjunctival hemorrhage. Okay. So, right here, a subconjunctival hemorrhage is bleeding underneath the conjunctiva. It can occur after a sudden or severe sneeze or cough, heavy lifting, straining, taking a shit, vomiting, or even rubbing one's eyes too roughly. It can also occur as a side effect of eye surgery or blood thinners. It goes away in like 2 weeks. I've had them quite a few times. So next time you go to take a shit, maybe take a laxative? I don't know. This is not some kind of huge issue for you. He got love taps. That's it. Once again, not saying he wasn't battered. He was. But Jeremy's playing this up as if he's some huge victim of some massive crime, like Antifa, the bike lock professor came and smacked him around. That's not what happened here. So why aren't the police doing anything? Because he didn't stay around for them to. This is a misdemeanor. Okay, battery in Indiana is a misdemeanor. I'll bring it up here. Indiana code. Except as provided in subsections Delta and Kilo, a person who knowingly or intentionally touches another person in a rude, insolent, or angry manner, or in a rude, insolent, or angry manner places any bodily fluid or waste on another person, commits battery in Class D misdemeanor. The offense described in subsection C1 or C2 is a Class A misdemeanor if it results in bodily injury, which he has a not. That's technically bodily injury. Okay, but it doesn't matter. It's a misdemeanor. It doesn't become a felony until there's grievous bodily harm. So why aren't the police doing anything? Because they got more important things to do. The detectives have more important things to do. Like, Jeremy sits here and tells us the police aren't doing anything. The police aren't doing anything. Well, yeah, it's a misdemeanor. Nobody gives a shit. The detectives are only in from Monday through Friday. Yeah, they work actually 12-hour shifts. Okay, so detectives are many times working 60 hours a week. They deserve to have 2 days off. I'm sorry. You know, if it's a major murder investigation, they'll work overtime. But for you, you don't rate overtime, Jeremy. Let's go back. Look at that face. Okay, and let's make this very clear. If this were caused, if this subconjunctival hemorrhage were caused by something, where the fuck is the bruising around him? The eye socket, the orbit, that side of his face should be bruised. And yet it's not. I can't see anything. You might be able to say that the right up above the eye and to the left, it looks a little bruised, but I think that's just the lighting because it follows the hairline kind of. So I don't think that's a bruise, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what's going to happen. He's going to take the money. He's going to file a half-ass lawsuit. Matt's going to be like, yeah, we'll just like pay him like $1,000 and he'll claim victory. That's it. This is not something he's going to want to take through the Indiana court system because he's going to have to file in Indiana. He can't file it in Wisconsin. The crime took place in Indiana. He really can't even file it in Connecticut. Once again, crime took place in Connecticut, or Indiana rather. So Ethan Van Scriver, the best thing for him to do was to say, we're going to take the $16,000 we have raised for Jeremy in 5 days. And what we're going to do is he's going to send us a copy of any legal fees that he has to pay out of pocket. And we're going to reimburse him 50%. It's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio with Jeremy contributing and his fans contributing. Because if this had happened to someone like me, I don't have people who are going to, you know, throw money down for a legal fund, even though I have a history of winning lawsuits, 2 of them, in fact. I just don't, and I wouldn't ask people to. But Jeremy needs drama to be about him. And that's where he just shot himself in the dick. He shot himself in the dick by not being able to keep his mouth shut. He's going to run a live stream in which everybody does the work for him. I'm going to be honest. I would personally, if I was Matt Lauder, I would be recording it and I would submit that as evidence. This is how he operates. He has other people do the work for him. You know what? A judge is going to look at that and be like, that's kind of skeevy. Look at how Judge Ellis in the Paul Manafort case is responding to the prosecution acting skeevy. He's not very impressed. It's even worse in small claims court. Once again, been through it. Jeremy is doing this for drama points. That's it. He's not doing this to set a precedent. It needs to be about him, just like the entirety of Magic Gate. He kept drumming it up because it was drama about him and he was a perpetual victim. Jeremy, at the end of the day, is a snowflake, and he wants to remind you of that, and he wants the drama to continue so he can continue to rake in the views and the shekels.